Oh, wow. So this is the first Warriors Plus Minus of 2018.
We'll do them about once a year from now on. Next one, maybe.
I'm going to start with my New Year's resolution. my New Year's resolution, as far as Warriors Plus Minus is concerned, is to only do one podcast a year.
One a year. Okay, we're right on tune then. We're right in that.
For real. My resolution is to be on time.
And you were.
And I was today. I beat both of y'all.
Unbelievable. I thought you must have had something else to do or something.
I dropped my daughter off and I didn't do anything else. I came straight here. I made you the priority. Wow, right?
I know.
That's crazy.
Once a year for that too.
So can we, before we get started, can we officially introduce our producer?
Are we allowed? Are we allowed now?
I mean, since we've stolen him, it's the heist is official, right? Welcome.
I think we won him in a poker game or something like that. What was that? Marcus, you had a good hand there?
The secret hand behind Warriors Plus Minus for a while now has been Ben Cruz, and now he is officially on the team. Welcome, Ben.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm very excited to be a part of the team. And
you sound excited.
I'm very excited. I'm actually leveling you out right now. So multitasking right here.
And formerly from
of Uninterrupted. So Marcus and I had some familiarity with each other with a podcast that shall not be named. But I'm really excited to be here. So thanks for having me, guys.
I never got a hoodie, by the way.
You're not getting one now for sure. You got Ben. I'm
gonna have to call Maverick Carter and be like, dude, can I get a hoodie? So
this is the reason why we sound so good. Ben Cruz, everybody.
So last night's game, we got to talk about that Jordan Bell injury.
Yep.
And I didn't even see it at first, but in hindsight and replay, it looked bad.
I thought it was broken. I guess like so much pain without much bending.
I was expecting to see a bad tweak, but it was nothing, which means it was all internal.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not good.
And obviously he was in pain, so something was going on there. What was going on? Like, he took that weird fall, and then obviously Chris Dunn falls on his mouth what
was worse?
For me, watching the one with the tooth
fall on his face.
And what was going on? You just don't see guys take falls like that.
No.
Or if they do,
how do you not get a hand down?
I don't know what that. It was really bizarre.
Yeah, that was bad.
So the Jordan Bell one, one thing is, the guy does run and jump a lot. So you're going to crash around and you're going to come down weird. So maybe this was something like, okay, he gets through it. Maybe he doesn't put himself at much risk in the future. Or maybe this is just who he is. He's going to fly through the air, and sometimes he's going to be a little off balance. He's going to come down weird.
But he came down, first off, I think he was surprised that Zaza got beat so badly. Zaza looked so slow next to Robin Lopez, but he got beat so badly off the pick and roll, reacted late,
and
got dunked on.
They just defended the pick and roll so poorly.
Oh, it was terrible. Got dunked on and landed awkwardly. But I'm more. He's gonna be out sometime, right? He's gonna miss. My guess is a couple of weeks minimum. Yeah. And with the way the Warriors are precautious, probably longer than that. I'm wondering,
and Steve will give Steve every opportunity to play other guys.
This is what
he wants. He doesn't want Jordan Bell hurt,
but he wants a reason. Yes. Like he wants the decision to be made for him.
Yes,
so he doesn't have to make it
very much.
So, but how does this hurt his development? I wonder, because he hasn't been looking good in his game action, and now he has to deal with injury. And I know his upside is higher than everybody else, but. I mean, really, is he better than Looney right now?
No, he's not. I mean, and certainly in Steve Kerr's eyes, no. I think, he likes him against certain matchups. Kevin Love, Cleveland, probably against Houston. We'll see now how Looney does against Houston, because I think Looney's going to get a lot of these minutes. By the way, it might mean the return of JaVale McGee into some part of the rotation. But I think Bell might be out out of the rotation. He might not get back in this season. I mean, I can't see him missing. Let's just say he misses 3 weeks. So we're talking in late February, something like that, and then get him going in time, and then right into the end of the season and in the playoff rotation. I think he's going to be in and out. I thought he was in for sure. In. He had played himself out. Certainly, Steve had moved him out, and this is only going to back it up even more.
But a lot of it depends on how the other players do too as
Absolutely.
well. Because if Kevon Looney goes in the tank, then he's gonna need somebody.
Yep.
He's still even Zaza didn't play that much. He still's not going to JaVale.
No.
Still is
Even with Bell out.
Even with Bell
JaVale
out,
played a little bit.
He played a little bit, but with JaVale out, it was Looney got a lot of minutes.
Yep.
Zaza didn't play that much, and he still didn't go to JaVale very much.
Yep.
So he's clearly the emergency, in a glass case, break if you have emergency and play JaVale. That's the situation he's in.
I wonder if they bring up Damian Jones now, by the way. Just
because he likes having six centers.
Yeah,
on the
I mean, he's on the roster. He's literally counts. He does count. So, who knows? They got Chris Boucher too. Throw him in there.
Who just made it start? They don't bring up Damian Jones. You know who they bring up? Your favorite,
Damian Lee, who I was thinking was Damian Jones halfway through the story, just because the names are so similar. Yeah, the Athletics own Damian Lee.
That's correct.
Seidel Curry's own Damian Lee.
Literally Seidel Curry's own is her fiance. I wonder. First off, feels like karma from the, when they played the Bulls in Oakland. Jordan Bell was showing off and doing the money sign because he got the cash consideration sign. First play of the game in Chicago. I guess somebody gave him. They were selling shirts out there, $3.5 million on a T-shirt. Somebody gave him a T-shirt. First play of the game, he gets hurt. He can't even show why it was.
He gets to start.
He gets to start
because Draymond's out.
That's right. He does get to start, and he can't even show why it was such a coup by the Warriors.
Yep.
It just feels like. Yeah, that'll humble you.
Yeah.
After you weren't humble.
And listen, we know Chicago fans gone crazy on this, and Chicago media. It's not like he's a superstar right now. Understand, he could help them. He could help anybody. You sold it for cash. They weren't necessarily even going to take him, by the way, with that pick. They probably weren't going to take him. So there's a lot of ways you can look at this. It's just they're treating it like this is Kevin Durant.
Like it's already Draymond.
Yeah, and it's not. It's a guy. And it's a guy who can fit in some interesting ways. We've all liked his game, but there's a reason why he's hadn't played a ton, and there's a reason why there's clear little problems with his game, which I keep talking about on Twitter. He does not seem to like to shoot the ball when he's wide open with 3 feet to the lane.
In the paint.
I just don't understand
I don't
that.
get it.
When the guy seems like he's got a decent skills with his stuff, obviously not a shooter, but you think he could get a little flip game, one-step dunk. He just can't do it or doesn't want to do it. But that's all right. It's what fans do. They obsess on certain things. I think it probably was not great for Bell to hear all this, to hear a fan base, just pine for him when he's got stuff to do. He's got work to do, and that's why obviously Kerr likes Looney so much. Is he's worked through it. Fan bases have dumped him. I've dumped him. Other people have dumped him. And he just worked through it, and he just does what Kerr wants him to do, and nothing more. Literally nothing more. Sometimes a little bit less. But that's kind of the way Kerr is playing this. By the way, he's playing these guys at power forward now. Not
which
just
he wouldn't do, remember?
He hadn't done for
do.
years. He's never done this. David Lee, when he played with center, it wasn't power forward. Mo Spates, center, not power forward. It's I think some of this is that Andre, they're just not going to lean on Andre as much because he's basically been their backup power forward, third string power, whatever you want to call him and Durant when they play together. They're just not leaning on Andre. They need someone else to get in there and give them a more physical presence. So Steve's going to the 4-5 with West Bell, West Looney, Zaza Bell, Zaza Looney. It kind of screws up their offense, but you know what? They're so good. The other three are so good. I don't. Maybe it's not something they got to worry about as much. It is interesting. You're seeing this a lot more with these non-shooters playing at the 4.
And Looney has looked great at the 4. That's when it seems like his game has taken off.
A little more open space. I think they like
the
using
guys he's going against are not that big.
Exactly, and
not so big.
And Steve just seems to like that pick and roll a little bit more, and he can roll. Looney can roll. He's got a good little roll game. Not going to shoot it, but he can roll and he can dunk or he can figure out what to do. It's a little slow motion, like we always know with Looney, but it's an interesting little development that I think we've seen. It occurs just basically out of necessity, just because I don't think he wants to play Durant that much at the 4, even though he does play him. And Andre, he's barely playing him at the 4 at all when Andre's healthy enough to play.
But you know what? Back to Jordan Bell. man, watching Chris Dunn and Zach LaVine, you throw Jordan Bell in that mix, they got some athletes.
Yeah, If they had taken him, yeah.
That,
well,
that would be a pretty athletic trio.
Yes.
To throw out there with
Yes.
Justin Holiday, with Lauri Markkanen.
Like you can imagine Markkanen and Bell as your long-term kind of 4 or 5 group there. I think that would. Be
I'd be
nice.
upset. I'd be upset about that
Yeah.
if I was.
Yeah.
If I were Bulls fans.
But clearly, they just didn't like. I mean, they didn't like anybody there. That's why they sold the pick. So, and if they kept the pick, there's nothing saying that they were going to take Jordan Bell at all. They probably weren't going to take Jordan Bell. But yeah, the Bulls are a weird team.
I don't know, man.
They're a
If
weird team.
if Bob Myers is calling you saying, "Hey, let's work out a deal for this pick. Can you draft Jordan Bell for us?"
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on. I think why do you want this Jordan
We
Bell
are now
guy?
going to draft Jordan Bell.
Yeah,
Thank
right?
you, and hanging up on Bob Myers.
Why do you want this? That might be my reaction, right? But hey, it's the Bulls. They're the Bulls for a reason. Does Jordan Bell's injury rule out a trade deadline move?
I just was thinking about that. I think it might, just knowing how conservative Kerr mostly is with his center.
Because the one thing they could probably afford to trade is a big man.
Yep.
But now they kind of need him, especially if you're playing them
I mean, if they have
fours.
Damian Jones, that's why I say maybe you bring up Damian Jones, give him some minutes, and you figure can you skirt the minutes that you might give JaVale, even in the playoffs with Damian Jones. You look at Damian Jones, but that's not kind of where they go with this. I don't think that does not tend to be how they do this. So
I mean, that's
I don't
so
think that-
unproven. He
Yeah,
almost has
yeah.
to prove himself
And
first.
can he give you 7 minutes in San Antonio in Game 3? I don't think they're going to feel great about that. So, but I don't know if they feel great about JaVale doing that anymore, by the way. But he has done it. They can throw him out there. He's a veteran. He's not going to commit 3 turnovers in 45 seconds. And there is a chance
and
that
he'll catch a lob or two.
Maybe. be a threat at the rim. I think this might really. I mean, I think they were leery of it anyway. Just knowing they love having 14 centers on a 15-man roster. So when they don't play them very much,
I also don't think they're not going to get an offer they
no.
want.
I mean, it was a salary dump.
Yeah.
If they could
nobody's
get it.
going to take it.
Yeah, they're not doing a salary dump.
Nobody's going to help Bob Myers, right? And I imagine he probably – can you imagine if Bob Myers is like, yeah, you want JaVale McGee? Yeah, just give us a second-round pick. Before, where it was nothing, right? It was like, whatever, second-round pick. Now it's like, am I going to get ridiculed by by giving up this second-round pick that they're going to turn to somebody?
Yes.
And now they'll be making T-shirts because this guy, right?
Hey,
like,
Chicago Bulls, you want JaVale
like
McGee?
you can't even get they can't get a second-round pick anymore for something. So – maybe at the last minute a team can do a salary dump. I don't know how many teams are like, yeah, give us JaVale. It'll help. We didn't see JaVale against Milwaukee, which would have been the time to sell. Like, hey, man, if you had this guy and we didn't see him. Instead, we saw a lot of Looney, which makes sense because he's from there, and he was fantastic. I just don't know what they could get to make it worth their while unless it's just a salary dump.
Just salary dump. I think if they could have done it, they would have done it. It didn't happen. This is what they got. Now Bell gets hurt. What if someone else gets hurt? Just their history is to just play it safe with these guys, and then I think maybe take another look at it at the end of the season and see who they got.
Of course, that means no third point guard, new one anyway.
Quinn Cook.
His days will run out eventually. That won't work for the playoffs.
Yep. So
I guess in the playoffs, it's Sean Livingston. That's your third point guard.
Andre Iguodala. It's Draymond Green. It's all the stuff that we know. They're not getting it. I mean, whoever they're getting is not going to be better than Quinn Cook, even if they had an open roster spot. So I think we're looking at what they got, and I think they're relatively happy. The JaVale thing was a money thing. Can they save some money right now? And we know their other history is they don't necessarily care about saving money that much. It's an interesting way to do it, but they don't care that much. I mean, does it cost Sean Livingston?
I mean, they'd fill the spot anyway, so it's not like they'd be saving that much.
No. So this is just the way. Once they gave JaVale the deal last summer to bring him back, you knew this was the most realistic possibility. Was he going to just spend the season with the team, and the minutes were going to be here or there? And now that they got one center down who jumped over him, I can't imagine that they're going to say, "Gee, we can just give up another center." Then what if Zaza gets hurt again? That's the way. What if David gets hurt? When he's 37, he could do it.
If David gets hurt, that's gonna hurt.
Yep.
because he's playing phenomenal.
Yep. So he's their best center right now. He is. So they're not going to. I don't think they're going to tap into this and just say, we'll play with it. We'll risk it. No, I think they're going to keep JaVale.
I agree. I don't think they make a move at the deadline.
We're going to take a quick break to talk about our friends over at SeatGeek. Buying tickets to sports and concerts can be complicated and confusing, but there is a better way to buy with SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the smartest, easiest way to get tickets to every type of live event. Whether you're searching for a last-minute deal, planning a night out, or need to find the perfect gift, SeatGeek helps you find the best seats at the best prices, fully guaranteed. There's nothing quite like seeing your favorite team or musician in person, and SeatGeek will get you closer to the action for a great value. We here at Warriors Plus Minus have the SeatGeek app on our phone, and we find it's the easiest way to find and shop for tickets. SeatGeek is designed to make your ticket buying experience easier than ever. SeatGeek saves you time and money by searching multiple ticket sites to compare prices and find amazing deals. And to get you the most bang for your buck, SeatGeek grades every ticket based on value to help you immediately identify the best seats that fit your budget. Plus, every purchase is fully guaranteed, so you can shop for tickets on SeatGeek with confidence. Make SeatGeek your go-to app for finding the best deals on every type of ticket, from sports, concerts, comedy, theater. Best of all, our listeners get $20 off their first SeatGeek purchase. Just download the SeatGeek app and enter promo code PLUS today. That's promo code PLUS, P-L-U-S, for $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase.
I don't think I got your thoughts on the secret passage.
Oh man, Staples Center. Yeah,
I was having.
Hey, listen, if the Warriors knew about that, they might want to go. They might want to go in the Clippers.
They did
Game
know.
7.
They did know.
Game 7.
Games. It was in that series.
Yeah.
That's how Jermaine O'Neal and Blake Griffin. At the end, it was during that series, and Jermaine O'Neal,
2014
series.
series.
2014. That Jermaine O'Neal had a problem with Blake Griffin, and Jermaine O'Neal was trying to find him, and there's that little corridor that connects a lot. Jermaine O'Neal used that back in the day.
I was wondering about that. Okay, because we know they weren't real happy with the Clippers in that series.
No, they were not.
And it was some of the coaching staff who they said knocked on. Right, they knocked on the locker room and screamed at them.
Yes.
After Game 7,
yes.
supposedly.
So that was,
and one of them who might be a current head coach in the league right now.
Yes, right. That's correct. That is correct. So, like, how wild? Well, I'm trying to. Warriors players are texting me like, "What is happening?" Yeah. So I'm like updating several players, trying to explain to them what is happening because they were playing and the game had ended. But it's just they're all like, "Are you serious?"
So they all know about this. They all know about this passage, by the way.
Oh yeah, they know about it. Yeah, they know about it.
I didn't know. I covered the Lakers. I didn't know about it. I assumed there was something, but I didn't know you could.
That's
go
why I was thinking.
I didn't know you could go locker room to locker room.
That's why I was thinking. People are like, Chris Paul led the way. Trevor Ariza knew about this. He played for the Lakers.
Yep.
Like, so he would know.
Yep.
He didn't need to be led,
yep.
which is probably why Chris Paul didn't get suspended. But is it the Warriors? I mean, the Clippers and the Rockets. The fact that they're involved in this says so much about why they can't beat the Warriors.
I was going to say, it does say about the Warriors. Like, they're so mad at the team that can't beat the other team that can't beat the Warriors.
It's just like the Clippers and the Rockets are just like they're folly.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's some weird pent up frustration that they're not good enough to do this with the Warriors. This is who if you're a great team, you want to have that feeling towards the Warriors. The Warriors are above you now. Maybe we'll see it something with the Rockets on Saturday when the Warriors play them, but they're not at that level. So they're skirmishing amongst themselves. One of my first thoughts was the Warriors are probably laughing at this. These are two teams that
they were laughing.
Yeah, just expending all this emotion and all this energy and getting suspended and having these feuds, and then neither one of them can touch the Warriors. It's just bizarre. And Chris Paul's got to be going crazy just if that big picture thing dawns on him. Like, you're messing around, and the Warriors are just looking at you laughing.
Like Austin Rivers is getting to you.
Yeah, in his suit.
Austin Rivers in a boot is getting to you. Like, that for me, I'm sitting there watching like, this is your problem.
Yep.
Like, here's part of your problem.
Yep.
But the question we were talking about was who would actually throw the first punch?
Trevor Ariza. Trevor Ariza, absolutely.
I was voting
LA,
for. I was
man.
voting for Gerald Green.
Well, yeah. I mean, you don't know. He might do anything at any
right?
time. But
He might be the one to pull out the steal, ain't that right, Ben?
Oh yeah.
Oh, now he's gonna go after Ben. He's going after Ben.
That was Ben Cruz.
Yeah. One me. For who's going to get in the most serious action, Trevor Ariza.
Trevor Ariza,
No,
yeah.
I just don't have a question about that. And I threw out the joke little poll on what ex-Warrior would lead people into the Warriors locker room in a secret passage. I only counted people who were still in the league to start the season. So Bogut. I didn't put Harrison in there, by the way.
Bogut's not doing it.
I just was throwing names out. Mo Spates, whatever, and people kept saying Matt Barnes, Baron Davis, Matt Barnes, Stack Jack.
Barnes, and Stack
those
Jack.
guys are retired. Those guys are retired. But I get why people were saying it. I get why. If I had a Chris Mills, obviously Gilbert Arenas.
Chris Mills.
Yeah, those are real. But in that list, and Ariza's not a former Warrior, but Ariza's one of those guys. He's one of those guys. You around the league, people know that he's one of those guys.
Yeah, Gary St. Jean told the Chris Mills story on the air about when Chris Mills and his homies held up the bus.
Yeah, wow.
I was like, I've heard about that story, and there were there was steel involved, and those dudes you don't want to mess with.
No, that was right outside the locker room.
Yes,
right?
it was
Right
outside the locker room.
yeah.
Right? That the Warriors have a couple of guys though that I probably wouldn't. Most of the NBA, like Popovich said, these dudes are not gonna fight. They're not gonna fight. They're millionaires, and they probably have never fought before.
No, they got entourages.
Yeah, right. Like they've never fought before, so they're probably not gonna fight. Even though Aaron Aflalo, did you see that swing he threw? Like he went for it.
Another UCLA guy, by the way.
Another UCLA guy, right?
Myers is probably
By the way,
cheering him on.
It was completely telling that they all was going after Austin Rivers, not Patrick Beverly, not Montrezl Harrell.
No.
Austin Rivers, the coach's son, the Duke kid, right?
Ringer story about one of the least popular players.
Absolutely.
No question.
At all.
No question.
People do not like him, but he also looks like you can take him too.
Yes.
But the Warriors have a few guys. We were talking like if you were to go into the Warriors locker room, you might actually have some problems.
Well, like the first guy on the first locker right in front there. David West. Nobody messing with him.
You're not messing with David
Nobody's
West.
Nobody's
messing with David West.
Who else? Are you
I wouldn't mess with Zaza.
Yeah,
the dude is from Georgia.
Yeah, he's rock solid. He's rock solid. You're right.
Like this dude. He grew up in war.
Yeah.
I'm not fooling with that dude.
No, and he's rather strong.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Just
a bit
I'm
strong.
not messing with that dude. I remember in Cleveland. Did I tell you? I think I might have said this during the podcast. In Cleveland, in the hotel, I'm in the elevator with two dudes who looked like they were going to kill somebody, and I just had to guess. I was like, I bet you there was Zaza.
Yeah.
And I started talking to them, and they were
Georgians?
They were Georgians. They were from Zaza, and I told Zaza, he was like, "Yeah, you don't want to mess with those guys." He said he had to have a talk with them about like Cleveland fans are crazy, like don't do anything, because he's like, I had to tell him I'm a little nervous. He's like, because I'm the nice one. That's like Zaza hangs with those dudes who might actually do something.
Yep.
I
wouldn't mess. No, those two big guys wouldn't mess with them.
I wouldn't mess with Draymond.
No,
I think
Draymond's
ready.
Yeah, I would not mess with Draymond. Draymond would. You just don't know what he's going to do.
Absolutely.
You could not like. There's a limit to what some other guys are going. Draymond, you wouldn't know. But the first guy is the guy who would stop everything. David West. That's all. Anybody feeling hostility to the Warriors and David West steps up,
it's over.
It's
like
over.
That's it. Yeah.
We've seen it. We've seen it on the court, and no one's messing with David West.
You're not. That's just funny. The soft, fun, finesse team, right? The shoots threes and all that, led by the two Splash brothers, who are not the hardest looking dudes in the world. But if you walk into the Warriors locker room, they have established some goons, which is pretty interesting, right? You think about it.
This is roster balance, right? You talk metrics, analytics.
Bob Myers said, "Give me some dudes who can fight."
Well, the nice, long, thin guys are great, but also give me some guys who are going to throw.
Give me some dudes who can fight, right?
Myers was right in there. He's a thug. Myers is a thug.
Man, Danville gang.
Kirk Lacob, watch out for that guy. Watch out.
So, we got I guess a semi-big game from Clay last night. 38 points. I mean, from a dude who can get that in the quarter, or 60.
Yeah, that's what it was on the Slater story I was editing last night. He goes, we really haven't seen the huge Clay games. And he's right. You haven't seen the 60, you haven't seen the 37 and a quarter. But I think he's been great this season. I just think he's been
That's
great.
what I was wondering. Why haven't we seen the big Clay game? And also, what does that mean for his play? Because I do think this is probably his best season as a pro.
Yeah, it just hasn't had. Those are random moments. You're not going to get one a year necessarily. You're going to get when they happen. And we also haven't seen Nick Stoska's garden very much, so that might be part of it too. Yeah, he could have done it last night if he shot the ball more, probably. But 38 was.
Could have done it in Cleveland. They just stopped giving him the ball.
Exactly. It's just part of what's going on here, and that's fine. And you just can't like you couldn't even say Steph get 60 some night. You can't do that. It's hard. It's the NBA. You have the talent to do it, but all the circumstances have to match to get it, which is why the Kobe numbers are so ridiculous. Like he's got how many 50 plus 50s, probably like 40 plus 50s.
Kobe's ridiculous. But he was going for it too.
Yeah, no, and he puts his shots up. That's all part of it. How many plus 50s does Steph have? Like 4, 5?
I think like 4. Yeah.
It's just part of. Do you want it? Are you feeling it? Do you want to take that many shots?
I like this Clay.
Yeah. Oh,
without
this
the
you don't
forget
need
the 50.
Yeah.
Don't
you might like the Game 6 Oklahoma City Clay
Yes.
though. I mean that's a.
But it was the problem with Clay was he would give you the 50, but he'd give you a 6.
Yes, he'd give you the 3 for 11.
Yeah.
And that's not happening this year. And the defense is still there, and they're going to need him playing defense when they're playing these really good point guards out there, great shooting 2 guards, and he'll be guarding James Harden. Clay's at his best. This could be his career year. You just look at his age.
No question.
You look at his efficiency. You look at what he's still doing on the defensive side, beginning to get to the free throw line a little bit more. This might be his greatest year. I mean, we probably saw Steph's greatest year about the same age, 2 years ago. Might have seen. I mean, Durant's greatest year was when he was the MVP, which is 4 years ago. This might be the. And it's not like saying they're all gone down since then, but you guys have a career peak, and this might be it for Clay right here.
His offensive rating is at a career high 126.
Yeah, wow, that's Steph level.
Yeah, that is Steph level, exactly.
Well, you know what? I kind of noted it when Steph was out. You know who inherited the great plus minus that Steph usually gets? Klay Thompson. With the different units, though, the different units rose up. Usually that second unit kind of holds the line, maybe loses a little bit. That's with Clay and Draymond. When Steph was out and Kerr kept that unit together, that was their kind of push unit for about 5 games.
I kind of messed that up. My bad. That wasn't Clay.
Oh, come on. See, we got old commentary based on that?
Career high 112.
Oh, wow. Okay, I was like 126 is Steph. Yeah,
when you said it's Steph, I was like, you know what? It is Steph level. That's because I'm on Steph's page.
Yeah. Because you're Steph's guy.
My bad. My bad. But yeah, 112. Career high
Marcus
112.
already do a book on Clay when he saw that number. He's like,
I was like, the miraculous rise of Klay Thompson, the miraculous chill. Yeah, this version of Clay, he is.
No, because it's 112.
He's shooting 45 4 from 3.
Yep.
48-9 from the field. Like he's going for. He's got to make
He's
free
not
throws.
getting that 50, 40, 90, but.
He doesn't shoot enough free throws.
It's hard, and he's just the 50% for guys who are shooting the ball as that much from distance. It's really hard. Now Steph can do it because he gets to the
lane.
rim. Yeah, he gets to the rim. It's really hard for jump shooters to do it, and if he did it would be incredible. I just don't. I mean, I always thought the 50% was the hardest thing for Clay to get. It's great that you have that goal. It's really hard for a 2 guard who does not get to the lane very much to get to 50%. 48 is good, really good. Like we go through, Kobe never had a 48. I bet you in his career, look it up, Kobe never had a 48%. Maybe his rookie second year when he wasn't shooting the 3 as much. But man, I remember seasons like 45-5, 46-7, just from my time covering Kobe.
Kobe Bryant's career high field goal percentage. I see 4.68.
Yep.
4.68 his 4th year in the league.
Yep.
No, 4.69 to 01-02. 4.69. That's his high.
It's just hard for, and that's the guy who got to lane. It's just hard for 2 guards who aren't getting the easy shots to get 50%. It's just really hard for him.
Clay's field goal percentage, 4.22 his second year, That was his first year as a starter. Next year, 4.44. Next year, 4.63. Next year, 4.70. Next year, 4.68, 4.89. He's just been on a steady.
Yep, it's great numbers.
Increase.
Those are great numbers. There is
Which
a
is hard
two-guard
to
who
do.
used to shoot 50% all the time, by the way. That's Michael Jordan. And that's a whole category that you can't even describe for everyone else. So
Which is insane, right?
it's just ridiculous. There's nobody ever. That number, there's so many great numbers, obviously, with Jordan. But that one's the one that continues to blow me away because the efficiency and, the shot total was way up there, and the efficiency was ridiculous.
career 49.7.
And that's after the Washington years.
That's
and
after
all
the
that,
Washington years. Yep. That's with a 4. He shot 41.6.
Yep,
That's
yep.
when he's like, yeah, it's time to go.
Yep.
Jordan had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years above 50%.
He's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. For that kind of player, it's just
And
ridiculous.
2 other years at 49.
Yeah.
So that's like practically 8 years of his career
Of-
at 50% shooting.
and scoring 33, 34.
Yes, these are all 30s, by the way.
High volume. There's nobody's going to have those numbers. Nobody will ever come close. We could talk about this guy's the next Michael. This guy, no one will have those numbers. LeBron has close to those numbers, but he's a different kind of player. He's shooting the ball much closer to the rim than Michael ever did. Those numbers are just absurd.
Yeah. Which puts some context on Clay getting to 48.9, right?
It's a great number.
Because I would gather, his average distance has got to be pretty far.
Yep.
He's not.
It's got to be 20.
I mean,
it's got to be 20. He's not shooting those 5-footers that like Steph can shoot those 5-footers.
Nah, he's got to be. I like this Clay. I think this is the Clay that drives opponents crazy because you just can't let up. You just can't. Some of those shots he hit against Chicago, it's just
the one in
there's
the
no
one in the corner.
What else can you do?
Yeah.
Like you just turn around and punch him.
Well, that's what you get when against Cleveland when the funny one where Steph got the dunk.
Yeah.
And everyone, Kevin Love's like, I got to go cover Clay over there.
I can't even fake one way and go the other because he's going to make it. That's how he shoots. He's going to make it.
And the release is so quick, and they know he's going to shoot it, and they're so afraid of it. Absolutely. And that when you get 3 of those guys.
That's what Paul Pierce said. Klay Thompson was the best third option ever. Can you think of a better one?
Steve Kerr. I go right to the Bulls always. Tony Kukoc, but I think Clay's better than Tony Kukoc. Kukoc, whatever you say. But beyond that, I don't know. Paul Pierce with the Boston.
Paul Pierce.
Boston Celtics. He might have been second because I think Garnett kind of was third there.
Yeah, Garnett was probably third.
Yeah, but
just because he didn't handle the ball.
I can't think of one worthy with the Lakers when it was Magic and Kareem, but
right.
Magic was really the third. Byron might have been the third because Magic didn't shoot a lot. So
there's not too many third options that can get you 60.
No, I
Right?
can't. There's you go to the Celtics and Bird, McHale, Parrish was 16 points. He wasn't that kind of player. Dennis Johnson wasn't that kind of player. Yeah, that's not bad. That's
Lakers?
not bad. Lakers with
Is
Kobe,
it like,
Shaq, and
but it's Fisher,
Ron
Odom,
Harper,
Harper.
Paul Gasol, but that's when Shaq was gone. That's pretty good. I mean, you could say Ginobili for some of those Spurs years with Parker.
Ginobili can't get you 50.
No. But he could get you the 11
question.
you
No
really
question.
needed. That's pretty good. I didn't know Pierce said that. You can go through that. For pure explosive power, yeah, someone like that is always a number 1 or 2. Always. And Clay's
Always
Clay's
a number 1 or 2.
Yeah, Clay's a 3. It's pretty interesting. And is happy being the 3. And is content.
That's the weird part. Like in the Cleveland game, he's got it going early, right? First quarter, first half, he ends up with good numbers, and then no Clay.
Yep.
They just go away from him. It doesn't seem to bother him.
Nope.
I wonder at some point might it, but it just really doesn't seem to bother him.
If they win, like if they're losing and that happened, I think maybe it would. And it's
We'll
going to bug him.
probably never see that, right?
It's going to bug him. Yeah, we'll never see that, and it's going to bug him less than anybody else. But I think what Slater said that Steph and Clay have gone for 30 and 30 like 18 times in their careers, and they're 18-0 in those games. So they work off each other. It's symbiosis, and we've talked about it a million times. How much better is Clay when Steph's in the game? It's a lot. And Steph's better when Clay's in the game, just because the stuff we see, the gravity of Clay, of guys needing to cover Clay. When Steph screens for Clay, people the defense blows up because there's two of these guys. What do you do when that happens? When they come together and then they break apart, it screws up a defense.
You think we'll get anything from this Houston game? I mean, I know they won't have two players now, right? They won't have
just Ariza and Green.
Green
right? Play well against Warriors, but he's not a guy that you can just say, oh my God. Ariza's a guy that's very important against Warriors.
Yes,
he plays Kevin Durant, but they got Mbamute and they've got PJ Tucker. Hilarious. So I see PJ Tucker in these other games. He's terrible. And then against Warriors, he does stuff. It's just really interesting.
Matchups, baby.
Yeah, it really is. Too bad they don't have Jeff Green because then they really would dominate. But, yeah, you know what?
Jeff Green's going to call you.
Yeah, the Rockets could play a great game. You never know. Warriors going to spend 2 off days in Chicago. So that could be lead to some heavy legs in Houston. But
how much can you do in that cold?
You can go to comedy clubs.
That's when you're in. That's when you're inside.
I guess
right?
Kerr's going to comedy clubs. I know that. Yeah, I mean, it could be. I said 4-1 on this road trip on the All 82 podcast
because you said the trap game in Chicago.
Yeah. So you won that one. Maybe you loosen up a little bit and you lose. And Houston gets hot from 3, and maybe Ryan Anderson might even hit a couple against the Warriors, which doesn't happen very often. But I still think, no matter what, the Warriors are better. Both teams know they're better. This game obviously means a lot more to Houston than it does to the Warriors. Harden's going to be back. We'll see. I'm not thinking it's the hugest game in the world, though. I just don't think that.
I think they might want to win just because Harden wasn't there last time and they'd want to beat him. Which, if that's the case, like Houston's got a problem. But
they got a problem. They got a lot of problems. But no,
they gotta want this game though. Can they show up at all?
They'll show up. They'll play hard,
and then they'll start launching threes at the end of the game. And choke it away.
Eric Gordon will be throwing up the deep ones. We'll see. They're still got talent. They have talented players. They're not as good as the Warriors, though, and I don't know how they're going to get there. But they're not as good as the Warriors. If you talk about almost now, what teams? It isn't what teams can beat the Warriors. It's what teams can add a great player and then beat the Warriors. Because they're not beating them as it
literally,
is.
I was listening to the Chase Down Pod with Justin Rowan, the Cavs pod. They're on there saying on the podcast, these are Cleveland diehards saying if they get Marc Gasol, that's really that really won't do it, but it may convince LeBron to stay.
God, that's
how do you add you add Marc Gasol and it won't do the trick?
Yeah, and you got to give up that Brooklyn one to do it.
Yeah, and you got to give up the Brooklyn one to do it.
Yeah, it's that's where they're at again.
Who's one player away?
Houston might be one player. That player might be LeBron, but they're one player away. Boston, one player away. And they got Gordon Hayward already, so it might be half a player away. Toronto might be 1.5 players away.
I think in a matchup, just a matchup, I think Oklahoma City's one player away.
Yeah.
I think you give them one good bench player.
What's their mindset, though?
Yeah.
True. Yes.
True.
They're
talent-wise.
Yeah, they're challenging, no question. But at some point, Westbrook's just going to dribble himself out of it like he's done against the Warriors every single time.
All you got to do is
suck over him.
The series will change when Steph says, just whisper in his ear, Russ, you're garbage. And then Russ is done. He's done for the series. It's no longer about winning. It's completely about shutting Steph up.
Yep.
And then they're going to lose the series.
We've seen that game before.
But talent-wise, if they get one bench, if they had a Lou Williams on their bench. By the way, there should be a shopping spree for Lou Williams.
Yep.
By the way.
And yet they probably won't move him because the Clippers are going to sign him to a contract, and then that's their guy they're building.
Clippers are like the 4 seed.
Yeah, teams get stuck in this. But let's say it was Paul George. Let's pick a guy from your team. Paul George is a guy who could. They're not trading him, but he could be moved theoretically.
If he would have went to Cleveland, I think that would be big.
That would be a big deal. That would be a big deal. If Paul George, if Kawhi was healthy and Paul George was on that team, that would be a dangerous team for the Warriors. If Paul George was on Boston, that would be a dangerous team for the Warriors. But that's the piece that you've got to move around to say, that team could challenge.
That is no question.
And it's not happening, but that's what you have to do right now. Obviously, the Warriors could go through a lull. People could get hurt. We've seen them get hurt. But right now, I literally have to add a player to every one of their rivals.
You know what the player is? Anthony Davis.
Yeah, no, they're going to get
to Boston.
Yeah, but Anthony Davis to Boston.
If Anthony Davis goes to Boston,
goes to Boston, then that's
a new ball game.
Yeah, that's a team that I think is equivalent.
Now we got.
No, depends on what they're giving up for him too. By the way,
yes,
they're giving up if they're giving up a pick and Al Horford, then watch out. If they're giving up Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, then I might not do that. So, but now that's one of the reasons of why they want him. they don't want to have to play him. They want him on their team.
Yeah, that's a game changer. I don't look Portland 23-21, 8 seed. You don't think at some point they say, all right, one of you guys.
Oh, I can see them saying that. It's not happening right away, though.
Yeah, I don't think it probably won't happen by the February 8th
deadline.
No,
will not. No, they want to make the playoffs.
But at some point, they probably will have to decide between.
I've had this conversation with people in the Warriors locker room, and you know who they say?
They say McCollum stays.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, they love Dame. Who doesn't? But you got two of them. Who do you pick?
Warriors have a harder time guarding McCollum.
Yes. He's slippery. He's a shot maker. He doesn't demand the ball all the time. Now, I don't know if he can play point guard. You might have to just get a big – it's the whole Monte Ellis thing.
Yes.
You have to get a big point guard who can guard.
Well, that's the problem with that backcourt.
Yeah, they both. Yeah, neither one of them can. But if you said right now, if Portland gets rid of one of them, which one would you think is better for them? They'd say C.J. McCollum.
No
most
question.
Most of them.
Yeah, they said keep McCollum. He's the one. But also he's the one that they're like, what are we going to do about this dude? Because if you put Clay on a guy and he gets going, it's like, all right, they're kind of out of options.
Yep.
It's like, all right, Andre, you give it a try.
But
Andre, we kind of need you to guard the three. Right?
I was kind of thinking, I think the days of Andre doing that might be coming to.
They might be.
Maybe he might be able to do it here and there, but they run into a hot point guard. They didn't put him on Kyrie ever, really. I just don't know that he's that guy anymore.
He doesn't. It's the little guys.
And yet, God, did you see LeBron's flying down the floor and Andre's right there with him? Who else does that?
Yes.
Maybe Kawhi. That's it. Still, Andre playing like he's 42 sometimes.
Sometimes he looks like he's 25.
Still, nobody stays with LeBron.
I asked him if he went to Germany. He says
they can still do that in LA.
He's like, hey, they do the same stuff in LA.
Same guys, he said. I think the same guys
in LA, right? Yeah, I don't see the moves. Minnesota's a player away, but who's the player?
Yeah, it's a big time player.
I think whoever that player is needs to replace Jeff Teague.
Yeah, yes, and that's that.
I don't know why they thought that's great, but Jeff Teague is killing them.
They needed to move Rubio and all those things, but they're a really. I mean, you can see them in 2 years, but you also need to see the Warriors to kind of degrade a little bit for Minnesota to take a real shot at, and Minnesota needs another player. And are they going to get another player? Free agency, whatever. There's some young teams. There's some young teams I like, but
Denver's got a couple of players too
who bug the Warriors.
Yeah.
Like
if you go get Will Barton,
yes,
you go get Gary Harris.
You know what? Like, you talk about a first round matchup the Warriors would not like. Denver would be. Yeah. They would not like that matchup. You give them You give them Utah. You give them Clippers. You give them Portland. Yeah. They're fine. You give them Denver, they're going to beat them, but they have to think it through. Gary Harris isn't a little bit of an issue.
Murray is a issue.
Gallinari if he's healthy. No, Gallinari's with
Clippers.
Yeah, Clippers. No, so it's Millsap. But this is. Yeah, Denver could add. I mean, like we pretty much got to like take players from these teams and merge them, and then say this is the team that could bother the Warriors. Because
no, it's Jeff Green.
Yeah, Jeff Green by himself, singularly, is true. Jeff Green plus Derrick Rose. Plus, some of those
Derek Williams, right? Your guy, Derek.
All those great guys for Cleveland. They're just so awesome, all of them. Jose Calderon.
Yes.
Remember, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but we had our guy Jason Lloyd on not too while ago, and he was talking about how great Calderon's playing. You and I are both looking. This is Jeff. Jose
he was
Calderon,
on the Jeff Green train too.
Jeff Green and Jose Calderon are not the guys that we're going to be talking about in June, and if we are. It ain't going to be a problem.
No, it's not. It's not going to be a problem at all.
Shumpert is a guy that bugs the Warriors a little bit, and he's hurt, but they don't like playing him a lot.
They played him a lot. He can't do anything on offense.
Exactly. But they played him a lot, and when they won.
He was great.
Because he just played the great D, and everyone, spread the ball around. I don't know that he even has a role on this team anymore. Haven't they been trying to trade him for a
Yeah,
year?
he's not. It's not going well for him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah, if I were another contender, I'd be trying to get somebody off Denver.
Yes.
Like get one of those.
I want one of those two of those guys.
Get one of those guys.
Let's throw it. Like if Cleveland could trade Kevin Love for Will Barton and Gary Harris, they might. And we play Tristan Thompson at center.
Millsap.
Get two. Get two of those guys. They'd be better. They would be better. They're not going to do it, but they would be better.
Nah, they're not going to do that.
No.
They're not going to do it. Which they probably will fit LeBron better.
I think
agree. Millsap doesn't need to get shots. He'll go get his shots.
I think Tristan Thompson plays better with LeBron.
Yes.
I just think it's a better mix, those two guys. But what do I know?
They just make the Warriors work.
Yes.
Like when Tristan Thompson is in the game, Draymond has to work.
Yes. But the problem is they try to play Tristan Thompson with Kevin Love.
Yes.
And that screws it all up. So, they're better with Love by himself as opposed to Love with Thompson. But I think they're better with Thompson by himself and LeBron as the power forward. I think that's their best combo. I really do. But we're not going to see it. They don't like it. They're Cleveland. They do what they do.
So far, it just looks like Boston. I think Toronto has the depth.
Yep.
In the end, I don't know if volume shooting point guard and a mid-range shooting two guard is going to be the right answer, but they do have something. They have some things that the Warriors will have to deal with.
Yep. And they got a bench.
And when their first unit comes out, the game isn't over.
No, they got a bench.
And that's critical when you're playing the Warriors.
And here and there, Valanciunas could bug them. And they got guys. So, again, I don't think they're better than the Warriors. And we saw that.
We're just looking for a good fight at this point.
Who would we be interested in seeing? Yeah, I think Toronto. I think obviously Boston gives the Warriors trouble, but I don't think in a series it would be. I think Toronto would be tricky.
A fight. It'll be like one of those fights, The Warriors would win it, but they'd come out with a bloody lip or something. Yeah, because Marcus Smart is just an irritant.
Marcus Smart is irritant, and Kyrie
is Kyrie, right?
He's to them. Jaylen
Brown and Tatum. Tatum apparently never misses. It's unbelievable how a rookie comes in.
I don't know how that happened because I watched him at Duke and go, "There's not."
This dude is hitting pull-ups in transition from 25 feet.
Something happened to this guy, but good for him. Good for him, guys.
It's unbelievable. I keep waiting for him to say, "All right, that was fun while it lasted," but back to earth. No. He can shoot.
Yes, he can, and he can shoot.
And you know who can't shoot? The guy Danny Ainge didn't get. You see Markelle Fultz's shot.
No, I don't. I try to stay away from that. It's
Lord.
terrible.
Yep. He's broken.
Yeah, and he wasn't. He could shoot last year in college. I don't know what the hell happened there.
Something's wrong.
Number one overall pick.
He's looking like Ronnie Brewer or something, like Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
I know. Number one overall pick who shot three-pointers last year. That's the thing. He shot better than Jason Tatum did last year from three, in my mind, at least from the games I saw. And now Jason Tatum is the best three-point shooter in the league, and Markelle Fultz can't be activated because he can't shoot. It's unbelievable.
That's insane.
Number one overall pick. Can you imagine him out there playing big minutes with Ben Simmons? Defense was not even. They wouldn't even. Just 5 on all playing Embiid.
Just put a shield around Embiid. Like he'll never get the ball. Like please shoot. I dare you to shoot. And one dude on Covington. That's how you guard Philly.
Yep.
That's another team.
JJ Redick.
They're about 2 or 3 players away in a couple years.
2 or 3 players.
in a couple years.
They've been terrible for 7 years in order to get all these good players. They'll still about 2 years. 2 years away.
They got a good, nice team.
They should tank this season and get another good pick. I'm sure the people in Philly would love that.
I think they've done enough tanking. All right. So no trade, no big game, no crazy game from Clay.
No rivals,
and no Jordan Bell.
Yeah, well, a nice conversation we've had here.
Yeah, right.
Nice positive update.
Hey, this is good. Warriors plus minus.
A lot of
2018. There we go. A lot of minus.
We'll come up with something better.
Maybe next time we'll have some pluses.
Next year we'll come up with some pluses.
See you in 2019.
Stay up.